Honors today for three members of the KTIV family. At its annual convention in Des Moines, the Iowa Broadcasters Association inducted KTIV Sports Director Brad Pouch and former KTIV and KCAU news anchor Dave Nixon Sr. into its Hall of Fame. The IBA also named KTIV's Regional Vice President Sue Ramsett its Broadcaster of the Year. Brad Pouch was named KTIV Sports Director in 1996 after serving as weekend sports anchor. Pouch has won several awards while at KTIV, including Best Sportscast from the Iowa Broadcast News Association 3 times, Best Sports Play-by-Play 3 times, and first place for sports reporting. And as many of you know, Pouch has courageously battled brain cancer for more than 2 years. Dave Nixon Sr.'s career spanned decades in both radio and TV, and not just at KTIV and KCAU in Sioux City, but in Minneapolis and Des Moines as well. In 1997, Nixon received the Jack Shelley Award. It's the highest honor from the Iowa Broadcast News Association. Nixon went on to develop the broadcasting program at Iowa Lakes Community College in Emmitsburg and became its dean. The IBA honored Nixon posthumously today. He passed away at his home in Emmitsburg in January. His son, Dave Nixon Jr., accepted the award on his behalf. Sue Ramsett has served as Vice President and General Manager of KWQC in the Quad Cities for the last 6 years. And last year, she was named KTIV's Regional Vice President. In her career, Ramsett also managed 2 stations in Lincoln, Nebraska. But for the first 12 years of her career, Ramsett served as news anchor of stations in Wausau, Wisconsin and Lincoln, Nebraska. Congratulations, Brad, Dave, and Sue. What an incredible way to honor your legacies of excellence in broadcasting.